Alright gentlemen, with this one right here, we are on the Assault, and we are going to take a look at our definitive build guide 7.0 for the Power Fist. They feel great on the class right now. There is a couple versions of the Power Fist you can take. We'll get into the different versions you can take, and as well as some different class perks that you can choose as well, depending on if you want a more damage version or a more survivability version. And the version you're seeing right here is the damage version. So we'll start right here with our prestige perks. We're going with our adrenaline boost. For our knockback resistance, we want our health increase, which is fortitude. We're going to take practiced aim to increase our secondary, and then we're dropping duelist, which is a top tier perk, guys, for scrambling targeting because we're taking a fencing weapon. So the other version of the Power Fist that you can take is a balanced version, which is very good, but I would recommend dropping scrambled targeting and going with duelist if you are going to switch to the balanced version of the Power Fist. So let's keep that in mind. And then we will go into our core or our class perks here, and starting with the core perks. And like I said, this is the setup right here that you're seeing is for the damage version of the, it is more of a damage version of the Power Fist. So we got the overcharge here for our melee charge attacks, give us 25%. You're going to have 20% added onto your secondary, the 15% added onto majors and extremists. We're going with our 30% gun strikes. We are in the fencing version, and even in the balanced version, you should get a lot of gun strikes to take advantage of that. This one right here, the main thing is you have very low cleave on this weapon, so you're not going to take, definitely if you're in the fencing version, you're not going to take out a lot of enemies at one time with your ground pound. It does affect that, so that is why you're going to want to go with 100% and use it more for single targets. And then we have maneuverability for our 20% faster reloads on our jump pack, and that's the same thing with this. Since it doesn't have good cleave, you're just not going to kill a lot of targets on your initial ground pound, so it's not worth taking that. And then we're going to go diligence here for a fully prepared ground pound, gives us 20% damage. And then the jump pack will reload, but more importantly, it gives your secondary 50% more damage for 10 seconds. So just make sure you're using your bolt pistol after your ground pounds to take advantage of that. But overall, this build feels really, really good, guys. And if you are looking for a more defensive build when it comes to the Power Fist, there's really only two things you're going to change up here, and they're both going to be in your core perks. You're going to drop your 25% increased charge, and you're going to go with armor reinforcement to grab some extra armor. And then another thing you're going to change here is going to be perseverance. You're going to drop the 15% against majors and extremists, and you're going to go with perseverance. So right here, this is going to give you a decent amount of survivability, honestly. You're going to get an armor every time that you have a non-finisher gun strike. And then on top of that, you're going to get 25% less health damage, and you will not lose control from taking heavy hits if you are charging your weapon. And with the Power Fist, literally throughout the operation, I would say 75% of the time with the Power Fist, you are charging your weapon. So this is honestly a very good one to take. Okay, and when it is coming to our Power Fist themselves, like I said, we are, any footage you're going to see is going to be in the fencing version. I really like the version a lot, but the balanced version is very good. And as well as any like top tier players, if you want to try out these blocking Power Fists over here, these are not bad either. Most players, though, I'm recommending the fencing and the balanced version. And for most players, I really am recommending the fencing. And honestly, that is what I prefer to run myself. And when we're looking at the specs right here, I'm speccing this out the same with both of my whatever version of the Power Fist I'm taking. And I do prefer to take following blow. I think this is a very good perk. I know a lot of people don't like this perk, but I'm telling you, it adds a very quick 1-2 hit. And this is a heavy hit in the replace of a light attack. So you get a heavy hit, you know, very quickly in the speed of a light attack. And then on top of that, it has power wave distance onto it. So you can hit enemies further with it too. And it adds onto a bunch of different attacks that you have. So I think it's a real good 1-2 combo. If you're not going to take that, I would probably add right here, this cannon punch deals 50% more damage if you do not like this combo. But other than that, like I said, any version of the Power Fist I am running, this is the specs that I am running them in, and they feel very, very, very powerful throughout any type of enemies in the game. And just very quickly, we'll look at the bolt pistol here. So you can run this with whatever secondary you feel is best for you. Most people, I am recommending the heavy bolt pistol. I think it'll help them overall throughout their operation a little more. But there are multiple good weapons now to choose, and I am going to make a separate video really going through all of the assault secondaries and how you can really, you know, make some of these weapons very powerful using your ground pound and different things like that. But overall, I am recommending the heavy bolt pistol, and this is the setup I like to take. I really like this setup right here, guys. It's a lot of headshot damage, and you get some damage from being, you know, a little further away from the targets. So very, very good when it comes to the bolt pistol right there.
The Xenos